How would you like to do some better marketing with a better tool? What would Hemingway suggest to improve your distribution or place? What would Sherlock Holmes say about your distribution? Who doesn't want to add creativity to their marketing? I'm Rick Griggs, and I want to show you a tool called Rolestorming that we think can add some pizzazz, can add some creativity and some uniqueness to your already good marketing efforts. But let's see if a tool that's normally used within organizations throughout the world for quality, for morale, for sales and profitability, for recruiting, attendance, teamwork, a current topic called workplace location. Let's see if we can add, by using this Rolestorming tool, can we add a little creativity to your marketing? I think we can. We're going to have some fun doing this. But you've heard about, if you've seen the earlier videos, you've heard about, those marketing P's, and sometimes they're 4, sometimes they're 6, 7, or 8, or whatever. But we use the product, pricing, placement, and promotion as useful, the 4 really useful P's. You can get a handle on those. But we want to just see if we can use this Rolestorming tool to take the placement of your product and see if we can add some creativity to what you're doing. Just to show that we've kind of done our homework. One of the first books was with Diana Bonet, was called Quality at Work. She sat in on a quality course I was teaching and felt that her publisher would be interested in this topic, and he was. It was Crisp Publications, and we also included the first write-up on the Rolestorming creativity tool. Then after we finished that one, the publisher came to me and asked if I would write a book on personal wellness. And like I've said before, when a publisher asks you to write a book, you say yes. So this came out, did well. My first hardcover, Professional Balance, but this is where I introduced the idea of balanced mastery, this theory of being a balanced human being and approaching mastery. We did another one called Quality Angles and the Tantalus Complex. You'll have to look in this and kind of freshen up on your classical mythology to get that full picture. We did another book with Dr. J. Mitchell Perry on the Road to Optimism. That did well. And then finally, very quickly, 2 small books. One called Bridges to Balance. How do you balance your life and achieve your goals? And then another little book called Triumph in Teams that took a few more years to write. And this one did win a first place book award. But kind of all that to say, we've done a bit of homework on studying human behavior, on studying what happens within an organization, outside of an organization, what happens with customers and consumers, what motivates them. And let's just see if we can take this Rolestorming tool and apply it to the place part, one of those P's in your marketing efforts. And we'll see how the fun goes up, the fear goes down, and the focus goes out. Let's have a little bit of fun with this. Thanks. What would Judge Judy say about your place or distribution? What would Babe Ruth say? What would Van Gogh say about your place or distribution? Okay, we come to our 4th P in the marketing mix. We've done product, we've done pricing, we've done promotion, and now we're going to do place. Or when I studied marketing years ago, it was distribution, but it matches with a P for place. So where we want to go with this is look at a few other terms, like we said, distribution or channel or place. You'll hear those interchanged, and like we talked about with the old product, the original Rolestorming called profile scans, that was an issue early on. You get the product ready, give it a good price, you can promote it, and then you've got to figure out the best way to get it from A to B, and in a way that customers are going to feel good about accessing your product. So we basically deal with the producer of the service, the product or the offering, and then sometimes dealing with a wholesaler, and then other times going right to a retailer, and sometimes using both, and then to the customer. And now we've got that overlay of the internet, sometimes turning things around tremendously. But in your mind, in your brain, it'll just help to think of, from most producers don't want to go through all the trouble, so they go to a wholesaler that specializes, that can use economies of scale and do it more cheaply than the producer can ever do it. And then often that wholesaler takes things down to the retailer level, and that retailer can do things at an economy of scale that the others cannot or choose not to do, all in the effort of getting that product, service, or offering to the customer. So when we add our Rolestorming, we add this replacement to brainstorming. Here's some of the things I'd like you to focus on as you do this on your own, as you call and bring me in to help you out with maybe the first couple of runs at it. Here's where you can make some huge strides. Use Rolestorming to deal with the speed of getting through your distribution channels. So do a Rolestorming session with that quid nobis statement, do the prep, and do the roles around how do we hasten, how do we get our product through the distribution pipeline faster? What would a politician say? What would an actor say? What would a convict say? What would a nurse say? Using different roles to collect those data points that are already in our brains, and then to curate those data points. In other words, to aim them in the right direction so we don't waste our time, okay? We want to take all those data points from those Rolestorms and aim it at speed of getting our product through distribution channels, okay? A great use of Rolestorming for your marketing and advertising needs. Another one is margins. A lot of times your margins just start to evaporate by going through so many different hands. You know, we've got the term eliminate the middleman. Well, there must be a little bit of truth to that. In other words, what if there was some opportunity for you and your product, your service you're offering, to kind of scrape out some of that wasted margin along the way? What if Rolestorming could do that for your product during its distribution? I guarantee that would be fantastic for your organization. We can do that, and it would simply be the preparation, the role, the voting, and the application or the action. So we take the question, how can we protect our margins as our product moves through the distribution channels? Now, you've racked your brains. You've racked your conscious brain on how to do that, on how to save some of that money, save some of that spoilage, save some of that whatever. Now, we want to go to something else that works. How about racking someone else's brain? We're going to go and take a role. We're going to go and see if that Sherlock Holmes role or that Lance Armstrong, even though he's been taken off of his pedestal, as soon as I say that name, all kinds of data points pop in most people's brains. And some of those, if curated, remember, might help us protect some of our margin. And then finally, we're We're talking distribution. We're talking of getting our product through. We want to protect our pricing. In other words, you go all through the meetings to price things well, and then pricing slips away. People want to make sales and all that, and it just kind of slips and gets watered down. One of the big issues is to execute on your pricing strategy, big marketing issues. And I think Rolestorming is a great way to do it. So you set up the session, you do the prep, you do the roles, you maybe pick different types of roles. And in some of these videos, we've looked at Judge Judy, we've looked at Van Gogh, we've asked what would Babe Ruth say about this? Well, actually each time one of those roles hits someone's brain, all kinds of solutions pop up. We just have to grab them and process them properly. And that's what the full package of Rolestorming does. It grabs those ideas from the roles and it processes them properly so you can benefit from the ideas. So we usually do the Rolestorming part through voting in about 60 minutes, believe it or not, with the prep before and the action plan later. And what we want to suggest to you is try it out in fun little ways. Get in touch with us if you want to do a serious world-class session. We'll be happy to work with you on Rolestorming around your marketing needs. What would Freddy Krueger say? What would Columbus say about your place or distribution? What would Bob Marley say? What would Lance Armstrong say about your place or distribution? This explains it. The fourth P in your marketing mix on place or distribution, this tells the whole story. Trying to go from you through a wholesaler to a retailer to your customer. What's the best way to make that happen? What we want to do now is to see if Rolestorming can help make that happen in a good way. Then we've got this internet factor. At every step of the way, the internet is kind of a hovering shadow over all the traditional pieces of distribution, the fourth P in the marketing mix. This is the original Rolestorming tool from back in the 1980s. We called it profile scans at the time. It fits perfectly into today's video topic on place or distribution or channels. The intent was to be able to produce something that I felt had great value, that it was priced well, promoted well, and then the intent was to get this from me to you, to get this from me, my old office in Mountain View, California, to any customer, a human resources department, a small business, medium size, or a bunch of these to a larger business. The issue was distribution. How do I go from myself to perhaps a wholesaler, perhaps a retailer, and finally getting to the customer that wants to use and benefit from my product? What would Van Gogh say? about your place or distribution? And what would Judge Judy suggest to improve your distribution or place? What would Babe Ruth suggest for improving your placement or distribution? What would Freddy Krueger suggest? What would Lance Armstrong suggest for improving your placement or distribution? What would Bob Marley say? What would Christopher Columbus suggest for improving your place or distribution? What would Napoleon suggest to improve your branding?